Aloha and happy holidays. It's Julie Ziemelis, 365 Hawaii and 365 Hawaii Group from Keller Williams. And we are so excited today because it's the holidays and it's almost Christmas. Woo! So I've got our brilliant group of realtors from around the island to give you guys some information about what's happening in the West Hawaii and East Hawaii market and also in North Kahala. So let us begin with, we're going to start with Delaney Branham. EXP Realty, and she's going to talk a little bit about what we've been doing on a monthly basis as Delaney's been focusing on 3 major neighborhoods to give us a better feeling for what's happening in those markets so we can see how the market's moving. So Delaney, it's yours.
Thank you, Julie. And I'm going to try to go through this quick because I've got to scoop up some pets and head to the vet in a few minutes. So we're starting with Pualani Estates. This month, there are 3 active listings between $865,000 and $925,000. The 2 lower priced have had price reductions. One's been on the market for almost 6 months, the other one about 44 days. The highest price has been on 55 days and no price reductions yet. There were no sales in that neighborhood in November, but there are 2 under contract. There's one of the under contract one has been on the market for almost 5 months before it went under contract. The other one was only 3 weeks, and this one's interesting because it is priced at $1,129,000, which is, I went back to 2020 and the highest sale in that neighborhood was 1.1 million, and that was earlier this year, this summer. So it's interesting to see one come up at that price point and go really quickly, but it was fully remodeled, has a kitchenette, has an ocean view. So a little bit of a standout for the neighborhood, but you know, you've got one sitting 5 months on the market at 900,000, another one over $1 million is gone in 3 weeks. So that's Pualani Estates, pretty similar. Again, it's like a broken record every month. Things are sitting a little bit longer. We're seeing price reductions, and but prices are ticking down a little tiny bit, maybe, you know, about 10,000 or so less than they were, you know, previous months. So slowly seeing a bit of a change, but not much. Next one is Ali'ilani. So there's currently 5 active listings. See, price between 451,000 and 589,000. Days on market there range between 0 and 58 days, and the 3 that have been on over 30 days have all had price reductions. So sellers starting to see if you're sitting too long, you know, kill that price. No sales in November again, but there's 2 that are under contract currently. One was on the market for 3 days, one was on the market for 3 weeks. The 3-day market one was priced at $425, which was kind of the lowest price we've seen there all year. Because the sales, like the low sales have been around 450, 465,000. So 425 went really quickly.
Yeah. So tell them the weird thing about that one that's 949 though. That's an anomaly because
so there is, and I didn't include that in here just because it's not the norm. It's actually an owner has 2 units. They're selling them combined for mid-9s. But they have them as 2 independent rentals right now. So they're not connected. They're not using it as one. So kind of double the price, double the HOA fees on that. But if somebody's, you know, investors coming to look and wants to buy something and, you know, kill 2 birds with 1 stone, or if somebody wanted to live there and have sort of a double unit, I think when it was on the market in the past, people have used it, I think, as a, you know, as a residence. So that one's probably going to take a little while to sell because it's looking for a really unique buyer for that one. So yeah, I didn't include it because you never see $1 million property in Ali'ilani.
No.
Last neighborhood we're looking at is Lokahimakai. A little bit more activity in there in this month than we've seen. Last month there were 4 active. Right now there's 3. One of those went under contract. The other 3 are still the same one. So they've been on the market between 49 days and 120 days. They've all had price reductions. Those are priced between 800 and 925,000. So one of those did go under contract. There's 2 others under contract right now. Obviously the one that went under contract from last month has been on 3 months. The other 2 were only 3 weeks and 11 days. Price point on the under contracts are between 759 and 925,000. Interesting enough, just like Pualani Estates, the $925,000 one was only on the market for 11 days. went really quickly, but it was a super cute. I think it was a like the builder's model unit. It was really, it's a nice one. So um, kind of the same thing. Prices are ticking down very slowly. Properties are sitting longer, but every once in a while, even if it's a higher priced property, if it's a standout, it's going to move a little bit quicker. So I think buyers looking at the market, you kind of have to gauge, is this one gonna move quick? Is this a really killer unit that even though it's priced high, should I jump on it? Or can I start to bid a little bit lower because it's been sitting longer, or it's already had price reductions and the seller's a little motivated? But yeah, same old, same old. You're muted. Oh.
Okay. No, so just see if you kept your eye on this one. Is there like a breaking point that you see price reductions? Like, is it 2 weeks? Is it a month? When are you seeing that? Where are people saying, you know what, I've made a mistake here on pricing?
From what I'm seeing, it's like usually nothing within the first 2 weeks. So after about 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then sometimes it's like two, I think was Elite Ilani and Pualani Estates. Both of those, the last month, the ones that have been sitting for a while, they haven't reduced again. And maybe they're just thinking it's December, it's, it's holidays, it's a little quieter. But yeah, I still think sellers are optimistic, even if they're priced high, and they're kind of like, let's see what happens for the first 2 weeks. And then, depending on their motivation, they're starting to drop a little bit.
Okay. Well, thank you, Jelania. And I know that you have
yeah, I'm sorry to leave, but that appointments are hard to get here, so take advantage of them.
Very hard.
Yeah.
Good to see you, Delaney.
Thanks, Delaney. Merry Christmas. Okay, so Lance, what's your story? Let's hear it. Okay, so
what's your story?
Lance Owens, Louisville Real Estate, now past president of the West Hawaii Association of Realtors, but now the incoming leadership as vice president?
First vice president for the state. Thank you.
The Hawaii Association of Realtors.
Thank you. Thank you for the introduction. A lot like Delaney said, it's kind of, we posted that joke the other day in the page that it's like a tug of war. Buyers are saying, I'm not going to pay that much, and sellers are saying, I'm not going to drop it that much either. So it's just kind of a hold off. The sellers are not in a hurry to sell and go buy something at 6% interest. And the same thing, so everybody's kind of the hold off. But I just ran the numbers a half an hour ago, so they had up to the minute numbers. Looking at our numbers again, our listings were down about 25-30%. So take that into account when you look at the sales numbers themselves too. So as of today, a half hour ago, the median sales price for homes and homes in North Kona was 1.2 million, and a year ago it was 1,015,000. So we're a little bit higher still than we were last year at this time. Condos were at well, there's a mistake there. It says the condos are at 450. Oh, there we go, 450, and they are at 575 is the median price now for a condo here in Kona. So we're seeing a 27% increase in condo median price as of a half an hour ago, and the month still has to play out. But our numbers, if you look at last month, 58 homes, I'm sorry, last year during December, for the total month, they sold 58 homes, and we're at 19 right now. So significantly less, a lot less. So 20 homes. So what we're tracking 30, and there was 58 a year ago. So the numbers of homes are way down. That's significant. Condos did 45 last year, I'm sorry. And then this month we're at 17. So again, we're tracking just under 30, 28, 27, 28 for the month. We're down significantly on both of those. But again, loss of buyers and loss of sellers. So that kind of equals out. But let's kind of look at just what's happening like right at this moment, what's going on. So from December 1st to now, we have in homes, the 18 sales that we talked about, 10 of them sold for cash, and there's 112 still active. So we're up on on activity, but we're still way down from normal. And I'm looking at the average. This is the big one, sale to original price, right? This is what we keep looking at. 94% of from the original price that came out to the sale price. So like Delaney was talking about, you know, people are out there 2 weeks and then they drop it. You know, they want to see if they can get what they got before. And they're looking at that. The median is 97% of that. So I think we all know the difference between median and medium, but just real quick is medium, you're just drawing a line right down the middle. So that tells a little bit different story, and it tells you it's still a bigger chunk of them are selling closer to their list price. There's some of them that are sitting out there longer. And so if we look at the days on market to sale, and we're looking at the median days on market to sale is 20, the average is 30 right now, and that is on residential. On condos, the average is 34 days on the market. The median is 6. A lot of them are selling when they first come out. So that's kind of interesting. The longest one, which hurt that average, there was 145 days one set out there. The lowest was 0 days on the market. So on those, we had 10 closing cash also, and we have 51 active. So
the condo market's still cooking.
condo market's still cooking. Oh, and what is their median days on the market? Average sale to original price on a condo was 98% on the average and 98.9% on the median. So from median to average, you know, count 98%. So it's pretty interesting that that we're seeing those numbers still in the condos. They're doing good, and that's on original sale list price.
Okay. Anything else on that one?
Nope. Lance is done. Thank you.
Lance, thanks, Lance. Then let's move up the coast and see what's going on in Waikoloa Village with Jana Mahoney from Keller Williams Big Island. You're moved.
Sorry about that. Okay, so I ran the Waikoloa Village first and kind of made some comments about those specific complexes that we have active listings right now. They have 12 in Waikoloa Village, and 6 of those are in Alimalani. I know we want to talk about pets, so you are allowed to have pets in Alimalani. They have 216 units. All of them are 854 square feet with 108 square foot lanais. 2 pools, resident manager, plenty of parking, and nice floor plans. So basically, if you want a pet, you can have a pet there. It has to be approved, but they're pretty lenient. Let's see, 2 at Fairway Terrace, that you can have a small bird or a fish at Fairway Terrace.
That's horrible.
You cannot have any other kind of pets. It's gated. They have a pool and a weight room. Back on Alimalani, I wanted to say too that you cannot have short-term vacation rentals there. It's 30 days or more. I think that's kind of an important thing to note on condo complexes. Fairway Terrace you can do, but they have to be 6 days at least. Again, only a bird or a fish. They have 199 units and 281 stalls, and it's gated, so it's pretty secure. There is one at Makanakai, and they allow pets, and some of those even have a little gated area, so it's really a nice complex if you have a pet. Let's see, fenced yard, no short-term vacation rentals at Makanakai under 30 days. And they're just Makaya Waikoloa Village. So if you're going up the hill to Waikoloa Village, they're the first ones on the left. There is Greens at Waikoloa, which is up there. That's really more of a like a timeshare. So I didn't really include those. And then there's three. There's 3 active at Waikoloa Hills right now. It's a pretty small complex. There's only 24 units, and they do not allow pets, but I have heard, because I had a listing in there recently, that there are quite a few residents who are trying to see if they can get that changed to get a pet. So, you know, stay tuned. But those are nice because they have a big open space back behind there. So then we have 20, in Waikoloa Village, basically they run from $399 to $599. It's kind of the price range for those condos in Waikoloa Village. In Monalani, there are 20 right now, 20 active listings. The average days on the market in this tax key is about 50 days. And let's see, 14 of those 31 have been new, added to the market within the last month. Okay, so now same area, only residential instead of condos. And we have 25 active listings right now in the residential market, and 5 of those have been on the market less than 31 days. The median here is 943, and the average days on market is 90 days. So that's cranking up there. Let's see. The next is Waikoloa Resort condos. And I can go into, I didn't look up all the pets, so I can do that next time. But all of these do short-term vacation rentals. It's just, they're in the resort, so they are an automatic in. Excuse me, they have 14 that are active right now. And last month there were 14, and we have 4 new ones. So we sold 4 and we got 4 new ones. The median is $1,022,000. So there's paying pretty, pretty steady. And then of course the residential in that TMK is Puako. And it's 135 days is the average days on market. And there were no new ones added. There are 5 active houses in Puako right now, and they've all been on the market more than 31 days. It's kind of a cool little place. It's like an old fisherman's village, but so you have a pretty wide range of properties there. There's a little church that was built 1859. Looked that up. So it's kind of a cool place to snorkel, but only 5 places that are actively listed right now. And then let's see, the next one I looked at was 3.5, which is Kapa'au, Hawi, and Kohala Ranch. And there are actually 25 listings there in that area now. 5 of those have been on the market, new to the market this month. And you've got a pretty wide variety in there. So you're going to go from 599,000, which is sort of the low end, up to 3.5. So that's a pretty big range in what you can find there. It's a, you've got some really, really dry areas in Kohala Ranch, and then up in Kapa'au and Hawi, you've got a lot more rain. So that's pretty big. There's no condos in that area. And then let's see, the last thing I pulled up was Hapuna. There are 4 condos listed in Hapuna. 2 are new this month. And the price range goes from 2.3 million to 6.8 million. And
For a condo.
yes, they're super nice though. Maybe one of these days we can have a 365 Kohala tour of one of those. They're pretty sweet. And there are 4 residences and residential listings that are in that area. Only 1 is new, and that's on Kauai High Road. So if you go all the way up and turn right, you can turn left right up there. It's right up there, and it's 539. So that's the Kohala Coast.
Okay. Hey, and also one of the people we have on this show today, they actually own a condo up in Waikoloa Resort. How is the market? So what you just said was basically obviously the prices are still high. I mean, $1 million for a condo there. But it looks like they're kind of having the same feeling that everything else is having with days on market is building, right?
Right.
But you're not,
Are they in the resort or are they in the village?
They're in the resort.
Okay. The resort, I think, is still pretty hot because those all are short-term vacation rentals too. And people use those as investment properties. And so they'll come and they'll stay for, a couple of weeks or however long they want to. And the rest of the time they put it in a short-term vacation rental. So those are pretty popular. And from what I understand from the condos that I've sold to my buyers down there, they're just fully booked right now. So
yeah. So it's a good investment.
It is a good investment.
Okay, so I'm glad they're still hanging on there.
Mhm.
Okay, so then let's move on to Amber, who's going to be talking about the East Hawaii housing market. And Amber Haley is with Real Broker. So take it away, Amber.
All right. Hi, everybody. We got a lot of stats for you right now. I've got a little bit of holiday brain right now, so just bear with me, everybody. Okay, so East Hawaii, we're talking South Hilo District and Puna primarily. There is a lot of real estate that trades in East Hawaii. So let's talk about days on market. In Puna, we are sitting at about 52 days on market on average, and that is almost triple what we were seeing this time last year. Just to kind of give you an idea of what that means. Last year was at like 18. Fast math. I think that's triple. Okay, and South Hilo, we're at 57 days on market on average, and that's compared to 22 last year and 27 last month. So things are, as you've heard us all say, sitting on the market a little bit longer, to sum that up. List to sales price in the Puna district, we're seeing 94% list to sales price as compared to 98% this time last year, 92% last month. So we're not really seeing the list to sales price go down from where we were last month. We'll see if that trend continues. South Hilo are similar, 92% list to sales price. A year ago, it was almost 100% list to sales price. Last month, it was almost 96%. So not too much change. We had 84 sales in the Puna district compared to 97 the month previous and 87 this time last year. In South Hilo, 26 compared to 20 last month and 30 the year prior. Let's talk about median price. That seems to be what most of you guys all want to know. Median price in Puna is $354,500 right now, which is awesome compared to West Hawaii. It is sitting at almost exactly where it was this time last year. So we have not seen that drop in a median price yet in Puna. South Hilo, $536,000, and that is up from where we were actually a year ago at $462,000. So we've seen in this little snapshot, at least, the median price go up. So not a decrease in the South Hilo district either. This month, we're talking condos a little bit. We don't have a lot of condos in East Hawaii. I just checked today. There are 20 active listings. They range quite a bit in price from $140,000 at the cheapest, and that's a leasehold. And then you can buy a whole building with 12 units for $2.39 million. So that would be our highest price listing. Out of the 20 listings, 7 of them say they allow pets. I am not sure the fish and like bird policy on every unit, but if you have questions on that, we can talk after and I'll look into that for you. So that's a little bit about East Hawaii.
There we go. Thank you. Thank you. So, okay. So while you're out there in the world, it seems that a lot of people are asking us, they want to buy houses in East Hawaii. We, have them come talk to you. Are you seeing a lot of buyers out there right now looking for homes?
I mean, there are, oh, sorry. I am seeing a lot of buyers. There is a kind of a decrease in activity all around with buyers and sellers right now. Just in general, but people are still buying houses. There's always trading happening. I think I'm actually really enjoying working with buyers right now. It's really refreshing. So I know most of the people who tune into this are buyers, not sellers, because you're probably relocating to Hawaii if you're watching this. So it's a kind of a good time to buy because we got a little more negotiating power. I'm enjoying working with buyers. So there's buyers, there's less, but they're still out there.
Okay. Hey, so now we have Tanya Klett from Keller Williams, Big Island, and she is going to talk to us about, you're thinking about putting your house on the market right now, knowing what you're seeing out in the market. What would you suggest for sellers at this point?
So first of all is really, to me, it's setting the expectations, and it can be tough. It's a tough conversation. It's hard for a realtor to say, and it's hard for a seller to hear. But really looking at what the market is doing, and the market is what's going to be dictating your price. You can ask anything for a home, but if the market can't support it, it's not going to move. So really, working with your realtor to dig into the comps and look at what's going on and really look at things that have closed and what it took to get that to close. So did they have to do price reductions, or did they come out of the gate with the correct price? And that's what I'm seeing. If it's priced right, it is flying off the shelves within a week. If it's not priced right, it's going to still sit.
Yeah.
Well,
I was going to say that in Kona, we did kind of the numbers too, is that
okay.
like more than half of the inventory on the market right now has been sitting for over 50 days. So it sounds like it's like, you're right. You have two kinds of sellers, the ones that were selling their homes quickly and the ones that are just sitting waiting and praying.
And the ones that are sitting and those ones are going. And then with buyers, everybody's looking at inflation and the interest rate. And I guess it also depends, is if you need a home, then, it's that little saying we have is marry the house and date the rate. Just get into the home. And at some point, nobody can say when, but at some point, there will more than likely be a good opportunity to refinance.
So Tanya, you were talking about how when you're coming to the island and we have a rental crisis, buying sometimes might be the opportunity you want to check on. Now we're talking about this with pets, because as we know, trying to find a rental that takes pets is very, very difficult. So speaking of like pet lodging and houses that are available, can you tell us a little bit about what you know for the north part of the island? Is there any like condos or anything else that has pet restrictions versus taking pets? What can you add to that?
So in my particular area that I talk about here, I actually personally live in Waikoloa Village, and Yana will deal with that in her talk. But there are pet-friendly condos in Waikoloa Village. They're few and far between, but they do exist. But where I am doing the Hamakua, North Kahala, and Waimea area, 3 condo buildings in Waimea, but as far as I'm aware, none of them allow pets. And that can change depending on who's on the board and what gets voted in. But for the area that I talk about, it's mainly being pets and homes. Can
you give our viewers who have pets maybe some ideas about where you take your dogs and where you have some fun with them?
Sure. So there's actually a great website. I think it's called Lava Dogs 808 or something like So she does a really good job. That's really a good resource, and I'm so grateful to her for putting that in place. And that'll list some really good areas. What we do is we take the pups down to A Bay, just in front of Lava and walk left. That's pet friendly and dog friendly. Harvey seems to be very pet friendly up the coffee shop up there. I often see people with their dogs.
Is there anything else you want to let the audience know about what's happening with the market, or anything else as we head into the holiday season?
I think there's a lot of activity at the moment with people in town, but this week I don't think it's going to be a huge week for real estate as people settle down for the holidays. But it's just paying attention to the market and seeing what it's doing and setting expectations for both buyers and sellers.
And if you want to know more about those condo complexes, we actually just did a list. Eric and I did for one of our clients. It's actually on this call. So if you want a list of all those condos, let us know, drop it in the comments. We can get that to you. So with that, I would like to jump over to Lance, who's going to tell us a little bit about the short-term vacation rental experience. And what the county is working on right now to give, because we also have some people coming in trying to be investors. In fact, we just had somebody call us today. He wanted to buy a single family home that he can rent short term with an attached ohana that he can also use as an STVR. And we're like, you need to know what's going on. So Lance, can you help us out?
The biggest advice I'm giving clients is to watch that video and to read the bill, because you really need to decipher it yourself, because the video is kind of all over the place. Amber, we need your help. These people are from your district. So we need your help. And we have been working with the Hilo Board of Realtors, the Hawaii Island Board of Realtors, very closely. So it's good that we're doing a joint effort to go after this, because it will affect the entire island. But they are coming. So STVR will be replaced with TAR. So when you hear that terminology, it's kind of a gut and replace of the old STVRs. So if this bill passes and things go forward, it will eliminate STVR, and then will come TARs. And it will eliminate people from anything past November 15th. If you weren't already doing it and paying your taxes on it, by November 15th, you won't be allowed to do a short-term rental, even if you're hosted. So if you live in the home and it's your property, you won't be able to do it, period. That's the way the bill is written. So there's a lot of, this is, it's kind of funny because they try to sneak this by the public on Thanksgiving Day weekend prior to Thanksgiving Day. They snuck out that they would be having this meeting on Monday, and they were overwhelmed that over 700 people found out. We heard from somebody, we didn't hear it directly, they didn't share it with anybody, that really could have got it out there and got it in front of people. But when we found out, we sent it out to over 1,500 realtors statewide, and over 700 people showed up at this meeting. So they promptly shut it off the end. They took no answers, no nothing. They're redrafting it as we speak. Some of our members met with Heather from Honokaa, I think is where she's, the area, and talked with her. And so it's being redrafted, but make no mistake, they're coming after hosted rentals. And it is, it's going to be hard to say. We're fighting it. We've reached out to NAR for a grant. We're shooting for a $50,000 grant to educate the public here on the Big Island. It's the grant that both boards will be splitting, and there's a participation rate that they want from our board. So we'll see what we get. We may get 25, we may get 50. We'll be asking for a call to action from anybody that is looking to buy here that wanted to do that, just to offset their their ownership costs. And I think it's important that we don't take away property rights. A big misunderstanding for people too is realtors don't make money on hosted vacation rentals. We have no skin in the game on this other than to protect property rights for clients. So so when we reach out and ask for your help, it is for a good cause. Does anybody have any questions on it? Maybe I didn't touch enough to. I don't know if anybody has any questions on it.
Well, first of all, you use the word TAR, transit accommodation rentals, TAR.
Yes. You saw me roll my eyes.
I was like, because we were, Eric and I,
I'm gonna wing it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So just for the people who are on the show here, Lance and I and Eric actually started talking about this kind of more in depth, and we actually filmed it, and we were releasing that today on the real estate channel too. So if you guys want to see that conversation, you are more than welcome to see that. As soon as we were trying to figure, is it rentals, TAR rentals, and then we'll release it. But there's also a woman that's in Kona. Her name's Chris Adair, and she is spearheading a group to share more information about what's going on, get testimonials, and give people an opportunity to know what's happening as well. And I will put that link also in the chat box afterwards. But does anybody have anybody from our audience here have questions about the STBR?
A little shout out to Chris and their group, Julie, because they've done a awesome job. They are working. They put together a Q&A form and some stuff. So big high five to them, because it's so good to see the public. Pretty much, we're all kind of along the same lines of what we're trying to protect here with property rights.
Right. And,
Great.
again, we talk about the property rights where people feel like they should be able to do what they need to do with their own homes. And, the county's thinking, if we all work together to stop STVRs and make it, so it's
They want homeowners to handle their problem with affordable housing, and it's a problem that they've created with their zoning and their permitting process. It's still 6 months to a year to get a permit pulled, and these are the problems that created the housing shortage, and they need to fix the housing shortage. But they think that taking away these rentals, this is their mentality on it, is if we take away these short-term rentals, people are going to start putting people that need a place to rent in their home, in their kid's bedroom. Why, a lot of this is why the kids off in college and stuff, they're subsidizing basically college payments, and also, the high cost of living here by renting it out on specific dates and not having somebody permanent there. So they're trying to accomplish their problems by us.
by people trying to buy places where they can have an extra room. That's Eric's phone. Eric, you were going to say something while I turn off your phone.
No, I would agree with Lance. It's an interesting interesting thought with the this idea of controlling hosted rentals for somebody there, which it doesn't seem like it should be that way, and that's why everybody's so up in arms about this thing. And there were
Right.
quite a few negative comments on that 700 people that attended that one. It was almost more fun to watch the comments about it than it was to actually hear about the bill.
Somebody sent me a transcript of all those comments. I don't want
Oh.
to share it publicly, but it was quite the interesting. Oh, yeah, that was more interesting than the show itself.
Yeah, and I've been talking to a variety of people about also I have a couple friends who have long-term renters that turned into squatters, and how hard it is to get these long-term people out because the eviction process is so onerous, and that's a county issue as well. And so I don't think that they can force people to put long-term renters in when they have such a crappy eviction process also in this county. So there's my opinion, because I'm watching
Yeah.
my friends deal with it. So
And that's a statewide problem, Julie, just so you know. And it kind of started back in the 80s when foreign countries were coming in and buying. I don't want to point fingers at a certain country, but foreign countries are coming in back in the 80s and buying up properties from the back of limousines. And that was a true story. I lived here then on Oahu. And they were just evicting people. Just boom, you're out by the end of the month. So we did this big swing from property owners' rights to tenants' rights that still hasn't been corrected in 30 years.
Well, now that you're going to be the big head honcho with the Hawaii Association of Realtors, maybe you can say, hey, we can't have people trying to do long-term if they have to worry about not being able to get their renters out. So yeah, I know. Lance, let's see, Jim says, Lance, a lot of this is off island investors. Yeah. With my glasses on. Lance, a lot of this is off island investors like the call Julie took earlier today, right? STVRTAR is tough on neighbors and neighborhoods. Yeah, it's true.
So and that is, and Lance, that's a very important thing to bring up, because as much as I have the right to to the best use of my property, my neighbor has a right to quiet enjoyment of their property, and that's the two things we fight for. And that's the whole thing where an STVR was an outside investor that was buying in a residential neighborhood and not there to police it, So you had the guy jumping off the second story balcony into the pool yelling belly flop at 2 a.m. in the morning. And but the whole thing was, with a hosted one, it's the homeowner that lives there and loves his neighbors. He's got to look at them next week and next year and next month. And so it's all there. So they were taking care of it. So for them to go after the hosted one, the truly hosted one, maybe they should tighten up the belt on hosted. Hosted, it was kind of they weren't real clear on their definition of it. Could it be somebody? Could it be my primary residence and it was somebody renting a room for me? Could be hosted when I wasn't there, and that's not what the intent of it was to be. So hopefully we get this thing turned around into the right thing. They like to drop a bomb on us and then let everybody scream and yell, and then they throw us a bone and do something. That's the way negotiations work. But we are pretty strong on this one. So.
Right. And then Jim says a lot of hosted isn't hosted. And that's true. And this is what's happening too when you guys see the video. If you get caught doing anything that they think is not in the rules book for hosted, non-hosted STVRs, there's a $10,000 fine. And so they're funding the police of going out and checking this with these money that they're going to get from the fines, and also the $500 a year that you have to pay to have your STVR or TAR registered with the county, right? So I just wanted you guys to know that, because obviously, you're here and we're trying to do the best we can with making sure that people, we're trying to support private property rights and just making sure that people understand what's happening with the county. So stay tuned. Okay, is there anything else?
Yes.
Yeah.
Real quick, if anybody is a buyer that bought in 2022, your Hawaii home tax exemption is due 12/31. So go online and fill that out if you haven't already done it. Your next chance would be June 30th. You want to be sure and get that in by the 31st. You can go to https://hawaiipropertytax.com/exemptions, and it's RP form 19-71. That's Romeo Papa form 1971.
And if you email that to me, I'll put that also in there.
Okay.
Thing people can use as a click. Because I do believe that there are home owners that watch this show because they want to make sure that their value in their housing is still holding up, and it sure is. So, so I think like overall, we're also like, I think that after this whole show, we're seeing again that sellers are not wanting to cut their prices and buyers aren't willing to really negotiate too hard. So we've got this stalemate of, figuring out what's happening. And I think it's happening across the country right now. So it'll be interesting to see what happens when we meet next month, because January and February are usually pretty, active times for people to come onto the island and start looking for homes. So we will see what happens if getting more inventory on the market actually changes things. So if there's nothing else, I want to wish you guys all a very Merry Christmas. And thank you for joining us. And I love our Realtor team here has so much knowledge. You guys can't get this anywhere else. So thank you guys. And we will post the next time we do a Zoom. I think we're going to do, it'll be the third Thursday in January, which should be the 19th. So mark your calendars. So with that, we will say aloha.